Consider myself blessed to be conducting this ceremony today, to have been asked to be here. I've known Brandon and his family for many years, and Brandon is a kind, sincere, Christ-minded man. And I recall seeing Sarah with Brandon for the first time at a church assembly. And he introduced me to her, and I thought, now she must be quite a young lady for Brandon to be interested in her. And I've come to find out that she is a wonderful person, kind, sincere, and Christ-minded as well. And I believe that this union will place two servants of Jesus Christ in a relationship that will be a blessing to everyone around them. They both have written some memories that they would like for me to share with you. Brandon writes, my first interactions with Sierra were in no way romantic encounters. Was she beautiful? Absolutely. Was she fun-loving? It certainly appeared so. But I, being skeptical by nature, doubted the real quality of character I have found she possesses. One notable moment, we were sitting in chapel at College of the Ozarks on a Sunday during the orientation week that college requires students to attend. We waited for the service to begin. Sierra sat to my right, talking to me. I would describe my listening as dormant at the time. She mentioned numerous things. I comprehended almost none of it. Only thinking to myself, she seems nice, but a bit too chatty. Many words later, the service began, and she sat attentively listening to the sermon. She had been doodling on the bulletin given us as we entered the chapel, but as the minister began speaking, she vigorously began writing notes. They were not just average notes. There were loops, twirls, arrows, and elegant lines drawn across the page connecting idea to idea. I couldn't help but wonder what she's writing energetically about. So I asked. Her reply was something to this effect. Every main point of this minister's sermon is hogwash. And here are the scriptures proving my point. Brandon says, I was stunned. What a thoughtful, bold woman, I thought to myself. In that instant, I took on the impression Sierra was someone of character, with more than charming features in her appearance, but with spiritual vigor and intellectual wit. While we would not begin dating until several months later, she had already made an impression on me then, and an impression that would carry on. Sierra writes, and I have to note that she has hers with headings and underlines. There's that. She says, this is Papa Ross's foreshadowing. Okay. These are so good, by the way. I can remember the day before I moved into college. Our family rented a cabin to stay in. My grandpa announced for the whole family to hear that he knew God had placed my future husband at this college and I was going to meet him. Skeptically, I agreed, hoping he wouldn't keep bringing it up. Which my passive response encouraged him to keep referring back to it. I knew my plan already. I was going to be a maitre d'. I live in a tiny house with my dog and spend my life traveling the world. A husband was not part of that goal. But little did I know that the next day would be the first time I would meet my future husband. And then the next heading is Sierra and Brandon Character Camp Service Date. Our school has an orientation that is unique. Everyone is paired into families of 10 new freshmen and 2 upperclassmen. Having just moved to Missouri and not knowing anyone in the state, I had my work cut out for me. It was the day I moved in, and I was both nervous and excited. I found my mom and Pop for the week surrounded with all these unfamiliar faces looking at me. It was all so overwhelming. I don't even remember meeting Brandon that day. We started interacting more throughout the week. Towards the end of the week, Brandon and I were in a group who spent 2 days painting fences. This green paint was thick, sticky, and never came off anything ever. We were painting side by side outside the barn with all the cows. We were just chatting and getting to know each other better. The more I got to know him, the more I got to know I wanted to marry someone just like him. I did not try to hide my interest in him, and during our time of chatting, Brandon looked at me and said, "I'm not going to date anyone until my junior year of college." I responded saying, "Well, that makes sense that you wouldn't want to focus, or you would want to focus on your studies since that's why you came to college. I'm very stubborn. So after Brandon got sick the first week of school, I started picking up food and medicine for him. And after he was released from quarantine, I invited him to play air hockey. We've never stopped hanging out since that time." Well, a wedding is a joyous occasion. It's filled with hopes and with dreams. And the words that are spoken here today are indeed important and sacred. God instituted marriage. It's His design, it's His intent for this marriage today to be a permanent bond while you are on earth. Hebrews chapter 13, verse 4 says that marriage should be honored by all. Brandon and Sierra, the commitment of love you make here today is one that should never, ever end. As you go through your marriage, there will be days you won't feel in love. However, real love is not guided by your feelings. It's a decision that you make every single day. You have both discovered those things that have drawn you to this place and time to vow and pledge this forever love. In the days ahead, as you live together and discover you're not exactly the same in thought and action, I want to encourage both of you to continually seek to discover what is lovable about each other. My prayer is that you learn how God is wonderfully providing blessings through the blending of your lives. They have each written their own vows, and at this time they will exchange vows, and we'll start with Brandon.
Sierra, my vows to you come as challenges for both of us, and with hopes that these promises will make our marriage stronger and not tie us to a wall without grace. So this is my first pledge, to always forgive you and accept forgiveness. I promise to grow with you. I promise to share life's ups and downs with you. I promise to laugh at your jokes. And I'm sorry when I don't understand them. I promise to be a protector and nurturer. I promise to mourn when you mourn. I promise to serve you with humility and honor. I promise to pursue a marriage that will be better in 40 years than in 10 years. And I'm so excited for the life we'll live together, and promise to pray without ceasing so our household will always be blessed with love and friendship. You and I will be able to lie in peace at night, and in the end knowing we showed love to one another and extended that love beyond ourselves, so that the light will remain in this world. And it is with this vision in mind that I promise to love you as I love myself, never forgetting the value you both possess.
Brandon, I choose you to be my love. I choose to stand by your side tomorrow and forever. I to be your joy in your heart and music to your soul. A song celebrating God's love and forgiveness. A song sometimes in unison and sometimes in harmony. I choose to learn with you and grow with you. Even as time and life changes both.